Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. So, before we dive into today's episode, which is, breaking down last night's Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 13, episode 6 episode, and just what is the state of the show and the series, we're going to get into it. I think the series. Well, let me put it this way. I think the season itself is finally heating up, and I'm here for it. But before we dive in, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. So let's go. So I think that, like I just said, I think that the season is finally starting to heat up. I think we're getting more of a vibe and less bitter Bettys running around, lying and deflecting and projecting about their lives. I think now we're really going to get into it. I do think this might be a Kyle takedown season where they think, and by they, I mean Kyle and Ding Dong Dorit, they think they're and Erika, they think they're taking down Sutton. But I think it's going to backfire because I think Sutton is emerging as a fan favorite. She might even be more well-liked than Garcelle at this point. But I'm going to get into that and how I'm really happy that they're back to being their iconic duo. But I'm living for Sutton this season. I think it's going to be a Kyle takedown season, and I feel like it's finally starting to heat up. So this episode, we got introduced to Morgan. We got to meet her, and I'll share my thoughts on that. And Marie was also introduced, and I kind of feel like, are they already editing her out? Like, she didn't really have that much of a presence for her debut episode. Maybe more going down the line. And we also saw sort of her storyline being teased, but we'll get more into that when we get to her slide. And then also, I am obsessed with this wild and messy return of the OGs and Icon dinner. Denise Richards and Camille Grammer. Like, I'm here for the mess, okay? But let's dive in. And as you guys come in, my beautiful candy canes, be sure to say hi in the chat box. Say hi, where you're listening from. Drop your candy canes questions and comments. And let's get it lit. Let's just have some fun. Hey, Deb. Hey, April. Hey, everybody. All right, let's go. Oof. All right. So, Miss Kyle Richards. First of all, Kyle saying that Sutton seems off is a bit of a reach considering her own behavior. Kyle has been spiraling. She's been all over the place, midlife crisis city. And it just seems very hypocritical that she's trying to project everything that she's going through on to Sutton. Do you know what I mean? Because number one, she's like, oh, Sutton's drinking too much. But Kyle was the one who clearly had an issue with her own drinking, which is why she stopped. And that's no shade. I think that if you realize alcohol is not working well for you in your life, I think the best thing to do is to stop, take a break, whether that's being sober for your life or just being sober for a moment. I think that's the best thing to do. But like Crystal said, just because you've stopped drinking, it doesn't put you on any type of moral or self-righteous high ground to then try and shame and out other people for their drinking habits. And I don't think Sutton's a drunk. I don't think she drinks too much or anything like that. I think Kyle is just, I think for everybody on the cast, other than Crystal, because she's going to get Annemarie to do her dirty work there, I think that Kyle feels like the person she can lash out to the most is Sutton, and I think that's why she's taking everything out on her. And then Kyle is also pissed that Sutton was insinuating about all of the rumors going on about her. You know what I mean? So there is that. And then also Kyle throwing shots at Sutton regarding, disordered eating. Again, Kyle, deflecting her own issues onto Sutton. Do I think Sutton has disordered eating? I never noticed that. Yeah, she's really thin and she used to be a ballerina. She kind of has bony legs, but Sutton seems like that's just what her body is like. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Kyle has already admitted that in the past she did suffer from, disordered eating, and she has lost a lot of weight, whether it's Ozempic, whether it's restricting calories, whether it's over exercising. She has lost a lot of weight in a very short amount of time, and she has been sort of hyper focused on weight loss and over exercising and eating. So again, everything that's going on in her life, she's projecting onto Sutton. All of a sudden, you want to say that Sutton has, disordered eating. Where the hell did that come from? Girl, bye. Please have several seats and shut the hell up, okay? Yikes. Okay. I did a video on this, but I think it bears repeating. So Kyle and Dorit, I think the whole Sutton is a drinker conversation, to me, that was nothing but a faux Fox 5 standard me girls planted conversation. You know what I mean? The whole, well, Sutton's a drinker, and Dorit chiming in, oh yeah, and blah, blah, blah. It was so staged and scripted and fake and phony. It was so obvious. They're not concerned for Sutton. They're just trying to deflect from their own lives. Dorit's trying to deflect from the fact that her and PK are broke as a joke, living separate lives. Kyle's trying to deflect from the fact that there's cheating rumors on both sides of her marriage, her cheating rumors and his. And Mauricio has about $32 million in lawsuits left and right, back and forth, all over the frickin' place. But yet you want to have a conversation that you're concerned about Sutton when Sutton is living the life. Girl, bye. You wish you could. Ugh. Anyway, Mauricio. And then let's talk about Mauricio. Then I'm going to talk about Kyle and Morgan. I actually, and I'm going to compartmentalize this when it comes to Mauricio, because I don't like Mauricio when it comes to his shady business practices. I do believe the blogs. I do believe the stories. In my opinion, I do think he is a fraud. I think he totally snaked Rick Hilton, and I think that he totally snaked his real estate clients and the US government, and I totally believe everything that's being said in the lawsuits about him. So when it comes to that, Mauricio can kick rocks, okay? Because I think when you steal from people, you need to go to jail. But that aside, I'm going to put that in a little compartment over here. When it comes to Mauricio and Kyle and in their marriage, I feel bad for him. I feel like he looks scared. He looks like he looks hopeless and scared when it comes to Kyle. He looks like he doesn't recognize his wife. He doesn't know what the hell is going on. And he just looks on edge every time Kyle is around. And I just feel really bad for him because I do think in his mind, he actually has no idea what the hell is wrong with Kyle. I think he totally doesn't understand what is going on with her. And to be fair, I don't think that she is actually communicating to him in any effective way exactly what her problem is. Acting out and thinking that people are going to magically read your mind doesn't work. That's why I'm so surprised and shocked that they're not in couples therapy. They need a truly good professional couples therapist to help them work through all of this if they actually want to stay together, right? Because getting tattoos, running around with your lesbian friend, losing a bunch of weight, being really mean to him isn't translating in his man head that, hold on one second, you guys. Sorry about that, guys. And we're back. So sorry about that. All right, where were we? So Mauricio just looks really scared and on edge every time Kyle is around. And I feel really, really bad for him. Like, obviously, they're not having sex, and he obviously doesn't understand what is actually going on in her mind and in their marriage. She's just acting out, right? So that's kind of what I feel about that situation. Now, when Kyle and Morgan, that scene, insane. Absolutely insane to me. Number one, I think that they're very, very weird together. I don't actually think that they are together as a couple. In my personal opinion, I think they have zero sexual chemistry. I don't think that they're having sex. I don't think it's a sexual situation at all. Morgan looks extremely uncomfortable around Kyle. And I stand by the fact that I think that it's just a publicity stunt by her team. I think that Morgan's team saw that Kyle was I think that Morgan's team saw that Kyle was this, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star. She's on Bravo and all of that stuff. And I think they saw it as an opportunity to raise Morgan's profile, which is clearly what we saw happened. Number one, we saw it happen with her social media following. Number two, the fact that we're even talking about her, and number three, now they're doing Kyle is doing a documentary on Morgan and everything else, right? So this is what I think is happening. I think that her team was like, hey, let's ride this so the wheels fall off, do photo ops with her, go to events with her, be seen with her, be tagged with her, all of this stuff, right? And I think that they wanted to get the money and to get the fame. And to me, Morgan kind of cringes every time Kyle looks at her or touches her. Like, she said that Kyle stalked her. It was just very weird. She said that Kyle was going through a midlife crisis. And then every time, if you notice, Kyle says that we're friends, Morgan kind of looks like you're crazy. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's just like this lesbian relationship. I think that Morgan saw an opportunity and she's sort of gritting her teeth through it, right? Getting the tattoo on camera again, that was just unhinged, attention seeking behavior. And I don't think that Morgan actually even likes Kyle as a person. Like, I really, really don't. I really don't. And like her and like the tattoo artist were kind of like sharing exchanges and looks and sort of like just being really weird about everything. So that's kind of where I land with them on this, right? Now, Kyle was gagged. I mean, gagged at the dinner table when Garcelle and Sutton came for her marriage, her cheating rumors, and the fact that she wasn't wearing her wedding ring. She was deflecting with, who bought the ring rather than if there's something actually going on in her marriage. She was gagged. She didn't even know what to say. And then she also started to crack at the very, very end. And then she admitted that she couldn't afford to be depressed right now. And I think that once she starts to open up about why she's not drinking and really what's going on, I think that the girls will be able to be there for her in a more authentic and real way. Do you know what I mean? Other than just the rumor mill and, all that stuff and what's going on with you and blah, 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 blah. So I do think the more that Kyle is honest and real and opens up, we'll see different dynamics with the women. But just like Sutton said, as long as you're not being real, as long as you're not telling the truth, as long as, you're going around the bush with things, we can't really be there for you because you're not being real and you're not being authentic. Okay. Now let's move on to Miss Sutton. So Sutton, all right. So I love that Sutton's outfit at her dinner party with Garcelle. I loved her outfit. I just wanted to put that on here because I absolutely loved it. Like the glasses were cute and like the cute little like camel leather top. I just loved it. Anyway, that was just a little tidbit. All right, let's get back to it. So I do agree that Erika definitely planned the elevator scene with her friends against Sutton. They brought that up again. Both Sutton and Garcelle did. And then also Kyle did as well, saying, kind of like trying to mock, Sutton and everything. But I do think that Erika planned it because it was in a penthouse. And if you're in a penthouse, you definitely need one a code or you need a pass key. You know what I mean? So I definitely do think that she planned it. I mean, it was obvious. Okay. Now, Sutton, I am living for her, okay? I'm obsessed with how she called out Kyle for not wearing her wedding ring. And I love that she came with the mess about Mauricio cheating and the marriage rumors, but she did it in such a slick way that she kept being like, well, what's going on with you, Kyle? Well, what's going on with you? What are you talking about? Well, what do you mean? You know, it was this way of like, I know it, I know it, I know it. And she just kept poking and poking Kyle to Kyle almost just like blew up. You know what I'm saying? Because she couldn't handle it, and I loved it. Also, this season, Sutton in this episode, Sutton was the shade assassin. She's like, well, maybe I need to not being picky. You know, Dorit fell in love with PK. I also love how she clowned Annemarie's dress, and I also love how she was like, Kyle, well, she's in denial about something. And then she also said, my husband is very powerful globally. We're not talking about selling houses. Like, she had the most iconic, shady one-liners throughout the entire episode. She carried it literally on her back. It was amazing. I also loved seeing her dating life and her being very vulnerable about wanting to find love and taking us in on that journey with her. So I love seeing that because we kind of get to see all of Sutton's life. You know, she talks about her children. She talks about her ex. She's talking about finding love. She has, you know, really quirky moments with her friend Jennifer Tilly and buying horses. Like, Sutton, if you think about it, is one of the very few housewives who actually shows us her entire life. She talks about her, you know, Sutton boutique, which every season she still has. She's not a one-hit wonder where every season it's a new brand. She's consistent. This is my boutique and I still have it and it's running, and every season this is the one thing I'm doing. So I absolutely love Sutton. You know, she brings us into every single aspect of her life. Next is where am I? Okay, Sutton opening up about her husband moving to London. Okay, to me, that was such an iconic vibe. And Kyle, girl, I need you to shut the hell up and sit all the way down because you're nothing but a Debbie Downer and you're just jealous. What is more iconic of a vibe than a housewife being like, well, my ex-husband's moving to London. And he just told me I had to go with him. But then my son too. But what if my son wanted to go? But guess what? My son doesn't want to go, and I'm going to get more money. Like, that is the vibe we want of a housewife. We want the opulent ridiculousness of it all. Your ex-husband is running a trillion-billion-dollar company. He's moving to London. You're worried about the kid being whisked off to London, but it turns out it just means a bigger paycheck for you and child support. That to me is such a slay. That is such a vibe. And that's the type of stuff I want them to be talking about. I want her to be distraught over that. Very similar to how I wanted, what's her name? I wanted Lisa Barlow to be distraught over the $60,000 ring that she lost. Like, those are the vibes of a real housewife. You're distraught over the $60,000 ring you lost. You're distraught that the ex is going to London and your lad might have to go with him, but you're going to get more in child support. You know what I mean? When you're already making $350,000 a month in alimony. Like, that's the vibe. I would so much more rather have these types of conversations, these fun, ridiculous, over the top, opulent conversations than ones about, you know, Kyle going to get a tattoo with Morgan. Like, what? Get off my screen. Go find a therapist and work on your mental health. Like, this is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's bizarre to me. To me, it was a complete vibe. She's talking about more money and she's flexing on it, right? And then Sutton was right. You know, Kyle was 100% deflecting from her own life. And then she was also very belittling to Sutton about what Sutton was going through. You know, Kyle was basically putting her down when she was talking about getting the money and everything, and then trying to say that she has disordered eating now and trying to say she has a drinking problem. Like, girl, bye all of the way. Crazy, 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 crazy. Yikes. All right, now let's move on to Queen Garcelle. So Garcelle is 100% correct that Sutton hit a nerve when she called out Kyle's drastic life changes, okay? Drastic, drastic, drastic. 100%. She was also the sadist fashion. After Dorit's robbery, she still had her jewelry. Classic one-liner, amazing shade. I was 100% here for it and I loved it, okay? Garcelle hang out with Jax is cute and I like it. But like I said before, we were talking about Salt Lake City before, and I stand by that with all of the housewives and their children. Your child can be a scene, a storyline for 1 to 3 scenes, a max a season. Other than that, wrap it up. Wrap it up. I don't want to see Garcelle date her children. If every scene you're in, it's with your sons, you're dating. Like the same way I don't want to see Lisa Barlow date her son Jack, where every scene it's Jack's mission, blah, blah, blah. Garcelle, I get it. And I'm happy that you're being vulnerable about your relationship with your children and all of that stuff. But I don't need every scene with you that's not with Sutton with your children. Like, you got to give something else. I've said this, and it's not just about Jax and not just about Garcelle. I mean this across all of the housewives. You need to not make your children your core storyline. That's just my opinion. Like, it's enough. It's enough. I get it. He's a sensitive teen. Who isn't a sensitive teen? We got it. We got it. You can have those beats and you can have those moments, but it's enough. Okay? It's enough. Now, what I did like that she was opening up about, and maybe it shouldn't have been with her son, maybe it should have been with an adult for the show, about the ex cheating. Like, I would have loved to her have that conversation with Sutton or with Crystal, even with Kyle, talking about what she went through when her husband cheated on her and the demise of her marriage and dealing with parenting in that way. I want to have the adult woman to woman conversations about it. I don't want to always have these conversations with your children. Do you know what I mean? Like, it would just be very different if she was like, Kyle, it seems like you're going through stuff. When my husband cheated on me, this is how I felt. It was very public. So, if you need support, I'm here to talk to you. Like, that to me would be much more of a vibe than let's have, parent-child therapy sessions every other scene. I'm tired of it. Wrap it up. Okay. Like I said before, I would love to see more of Garcelle's personal life because we see a lot of her business life. She produces and she's acting. We got it. The mom stuff ad nauseum. But I do kind of want to see more of her personal life. Like, I want to see her hanging out with other friends, like how Sutton has Jennifer Tilly, how Kyle has Faye. I want to see maybe some of her other friends coming around and like, what does she do in the off time, maybe seeing her shopping, maybe seeing her going on a date or having a real conversation of why she's not dating. Because a part of being a real housewife is your love life. Your love life is a core part of that, right? They want to see you dating. They want to see you having your relationship. They want to see you separating. They want to see you divorcing. They want to see whatever it is. That's a core part of being a woman, is your love life. Or you need to explain why you don't have one. Just like Sutton said, you're clowning me for not getting a second date, but Garcelle, you don't have a first one. So I want to see more of that from her as well. Now, Garcelle was a queen, though. She definitely had a queen moment when at the table at the dinner, they said, "What's going on in your marriage?" And Erika was like, "Really?" And Garcelle was like, "Yes." She was like, she's like, "You have a new wedding band and no wedding ring." Like, she threw all of the shots at Kyle and Erika, and I was 110% absolutely living for it. She left no crumbs and she gathered all of the edges. I love that she talked about the makeup gift after cheating. Like, that's exactly what I mean. Like, have those conversations about what happened to you when your husband cheated on you, what happened to you in your marriage with your adult friends, because that's what I want to see. You know what I'm saying? So I love that. And then that was a moment. And then everybody else was like, "Oh, I got a car when he cheated. Oh, I got, jewelry when he cheated. Oh, I got a house when my husband cheated," and like that became a moment, that became a beat. Now, also, I would love to see Sutton and Garcelle. And like, this is why Sutton and Garcelle are such an iconic duo, because they really set that up for the 1-2 punch. Sutton was just like, "What's going on, Kyle? Don't you want to talk about what's going on with you?" And Kyle's like, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" And Garcelle was like, and 2 punch what's going on in your marriage. Knockout. Kyle was gagging. She had no words. Erika was gagging. Really? Yes, really. Because this is the show. And this is the thing. If it was anybody else's marriage, Kyle would be the number one person at that table being like, we need to talk about it. We have to talk about it. We have to be honest. You got to tell the truth. Kyle would be the number one person trying to make everybody else talk about what's going on in their life, talk about what's going on in their marriage. She would be the number one person stirring the pot like she's always been. But then when it comes to her life, and then when it comes to what's going on with her, she has nothing to say. You see what I'm saying? She has nothing to say. So, Kyle, shut up. Girl, bye. All right. Whew. Now, let's move on to Ding Dong Dorit. So, Dorit talking about having a business manager to curb her spending is 1000% laughable. Absolutely laughable. 1000% laughable. You know what I'm saying? It's just absolutely crazy, absolutely insane. Like, girl, you're broke. Word on the curb. And this isn't me coming from this. Just Google the stuff. All of the articles are there. You're broke. You're broke. So talking about having a business manager to curb your spending, you mean to curb your thieving? Doing insurance scams for money? Taking out $10,000 for Christmas gifts when you're Jewish? Girl, bye. Stop lying. Stop lying. I mean, it's just absolutely laughable. Now, Dorit coming for Sutton during the matchmaking session, that wasn't very self-aware, you hypocritical person. She made the situation so awkward. She was extremely rude. And I just find Dorit to be insufferable. Like the way she's been treating Garcelle, the way she's treating Sutton, she's just not a nice person. And it's just really weird. And she isn't really bringing anything to the show. Like, it's just a lot. Like, it's just very, very, very weird and very, very bizarre to me. Very weird and very bizarre. And then also, like, did you notice that Dorit was putting people up to talk about Kyle and Mauricio's cheating rumors? And it makes me think, does Dorit want the rumors out there so she can finally be in public with Mauricio? Because she, at the dinner, she was the one who went up to Sutton and said, did you talk to Kyle yet? And Sutton was like, oh, not yet. I need a cocktail first. So if Dorit is supposed to be Kyle's best friend and having Kyle's back, and she's so against Sutton, why was Dorit setting Sutton up to talk to Kyle about the cheating rumors? And then did you also notice when Annemarie talked for the first time ever on the show and was like, oh, Sutton, well, what are you saying? You guys aren't really saying anything. Dorit was the loudest one in the room being like, yeah, you're right. You're right. She needs to say what it is. Again, Dorit, if you're supposed to be Kyle's best friend, why are you championing Annemarie saying that Sutton needs to just say what the rumor is? I think that Dorit wants the rumors out there. She wants Mauricio for herself, but she doesn't want to be the one to get her hands dirty doing it. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much all I have for Ding Dong Dorit. Girl, bye. Okay, so Erika. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny that Erika's publicist fired her after he got exposed for leaking the Kathy rumors? I think it's really, really funny that he did that. Now, she was like, Jack and I parted ways after the whole Kathy rumors, blah, 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 blah. Well, this is the same publicist, Jack, who fired Rachel Leviss for lying about Sheena punching her during Scandal. This is the same publicist. Same exact publicist. And then I'm like, I thought Erika was claiming that she was broke. How does she have enough money for a new PR team when she's saying she's broke and destitute? What broke person has enough money to hire new PR teams? Girl, bye. Girl, bye. And I'm tired of every scene that Erika is in being this fake scripted reputation rehab scenes. They're tiresome. I'm done with the fake therapist. I'm done with the fake publicist. I'm done with her. I like moms, but I'm done with her mom scene because every single scene is her trying to do reputation rehab. They're all scripted. They're all fake and phony, and we all see through you, Erika. You're as evil as you've ever been. And we're just sick and tired of it. Please sit down and have several seats. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about Crystal. Now, I'm happy that Crystal has found her voice and that she defended Sutton to Dorit and Kyle. Like, to me, that was good. Like, it shows that you have a backbone. It shows you have a voice, you have a point of view, and you're not just going to let everything, slide. I also love Crystal shading Annemarie, saying she's nosy and she asks a lot of questions and she's just not here for it. And I'm looking forward to seeing that takedown. And I really do hope Crystal stays 10 toes down and takes Annemarie down because I don't like Annemarie. And I like Crystal a lot more than I've ever had before. And then Crystal's also showing up and she wants to keep that diamond boo boo because Crystal was the one at the table who started the mess between Sutton and Kyle. Like, I don't know if Crystal did this on her own or if production put a little bug in her ear, because don't forget, Crystal was the one who got up from the table and went into when Sutton and Kyle were having their side conversation and sort of went into that side conversation, right? So with that, I think Crystal is showing up and she wants to keep her diamond. Again, I don't know if she did that on her own, being at the table, being like, look, we need to talk about this and get the elephant out on the table, or if production put a bug in her ear and was like, yo, Crystal, you need to ask the big question. You need to stir the pot because nobody else has the balls to do it. Right? So we'll see what's up with her. Now, Annemarie needs to go already. Like, I'm done with her. Her energy sucks. She's boring. And also, I don't need another person who's just going to be a mouthpiece for Kyle. We already had Teddy. We have Ding Dong Dorit. We don't need another person who is just going to be a mouthpiece for Kyle. Annemarie, shut up and go away. Her husband, as we all know, has been accused of sexual assault. And I think that might be triggering for people watching when she's on the screen or if he is on the screen. I don't know if they're going to edit him out. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if Bravo cares. I don't know if their production team cares. They don't really seem to have a moral compass, so I really don't know if they care. A lot of reality stars themselves have claimed that they've been sexually assaulted on set when they've been drunk or they've been blackout or they've just been in a compromised situation. So I don't know if they care to, but I want her off my screen. I don't want her on the show. Like I said before, Dorit was too quick to agree when Annemarie was like, Sutton needs to say exactly what she's thinking and what's going on with Kyle. Dorit was too quick to agree with Annemarie. You just met the chick and you're agreeing, trying to expose Kyle and Mauricio dating. You know what I'm saying? So, I think there's something really weird going on there. And that's all I have to say about Annemarie because I don't like her. Okay. So let's talk about the dinner. All right. So obviously, next episode, we're going to get even more juicy bits about the dinner. I think we're going to have more Camille. We're going to see the showdown between Denise and Erika. And I hope that Denise was wild. I don't know what Denise was on, but I was like, whatever you're on, like, can I have some? Because you are freaking flying. Like, she was on another planet. I didn't know what was going on with Denise, but I was like, girl, whatever party you're at, I'm joining you because you're on one. She was wild. But I hope that she has enough together to like gather Erika, because as we know, Erika does come for Denise, right? So that was wild. And then also this Justin guy, I cannot stand him. I don't like him at all. And I'll tell you why I don't like him. He is a bully. He is a very mean bully. He's a pick me social climber. If you don't know who he is, he does like hosting and stuff like that. He's always hung out with Kyle. I think he used to babysit Portia, something like that. But he had shows on like E and stuff like that, like hosting and pop culture. And he's just a jackass. Like, he's a very nasty, rude, disrespectful bully. He used to bully Kat Sadler when they were on E! News, like Pop News or whatever it was. He was so mean and disrespectful to her. It was disgusting to watch. I don't like him at all. He is nothing but a pick-me, social climber type person. And I really don't like him. And I don't care if he knows because he's mean. Faye, I've never had a problem with Faye, but like, please have several seats. Again, I don't need someone who's just going to be a beta person to Kyle and be Kyle's mouthpiece, right? Nothing against play Faye personally, but just chill out. If you're going to come there to be beta, don't say anything. Like, just be quiet. We don't need you defending Kyle and chiming in and blah, blah, blah. Like, just be quiet. Kyle is doing enough deflecting. When it comes to Faye versus Camille, I'm team Camille just because I really like Camille. I think Camille brings it. She's funny, she's sassy, she has the one-liners. And I think, again, I don't need someone like Faye or like Annemarie or like Teddy or like Dorit, who all they do is regurgitate whatever Kyle says. I don't need that, It's crazy. It's crazy, 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 crazy. And let's see what else happened. Yeah, so that is pretty much what happened at the dinner. I think next episode we'll get a lot more of what happened there. Oof, you guys, that was a lot. So that was my recap of the episode. As always, let me know what you think. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And before we do that, let's move on to this story, okay? This story about